just the charts are blinking, so hang loose for a second. I didn't think I was going to get back here in time, so obviously I'm early. Pending home sales were definitely more negative than expected, and it did have gold move down a little bit. So watch it for a second. Let me see if I can fix my charts because they're blinking. Can you all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. So sometimes I don't start the normal way. This was not the normal way. You could kind of see why we don't trade pending home sales. I don't like this report. It's not very profitable, and it very often doesn't work. So give me a second. I'm trying to, I have to fix these charts. So I'm going to be back. I'm going to have to leave the room, and I'm going to come back because my charts are blinking like crazy. So I'll be right back. And then we'll start the stream also. Give me a second. Okay, the charts look good. Good morning, everybody. Let me get the stream, and we'll start. So it's been a very interesting morning. I had an appointment. Otherwise, believe me, we would have had a trade room at 8. We would have had a trade room at 7:30 this morning. But I want to be very honest. You know, I'm always honest. I always tell the truth. So let's deal with some truth. So let me pull out the schedule, because believe me, I did not want to have an appointment where I could not make the trade rooms this morning, but there's nothing I can do about it. Sometimes you just can't help it. So welcome to the Natural Gas Storage Report. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes, and it is possible to lose money trading futures. So please trade carefully. All right, let's deal with some honesty. All right, I think you all know me well enough. You know that one thing that you can count on from me is honesty. So let's look at the schedule, because believe me, when I knew that I couldn't be here today, I was not happy, because I knew that there was a euro refi rate trade, and I knew that there was also advanced GDP. Now, if it would have been preliminary GDP, then, or flash GDP, it's preliminary, advanced, and final. Advanced is in the middle. In other words, GDP came out about 10 days ago, the original report. The medium level report came out today. And advanced is actually one of my favorites. It's not quite as volatile usually as the first, as flash GDP or preliminary GDP. But I want to show you the schedule for a couple of reasons. Now, just because there isn't a trade room doesn't mean you can't trade. And this is the whole point of what we do. Just because there are trades that aren't family money trades I would think that there should be people out there. I'm a little bit surprised. Not one person asked me about any of the trades that we didn't have trade rooms for this morning. The Euro main refi rate. Would I have traded this report today? Not live. Why would I have not traded it live? Last month was a stop. The month before was a stop. There's only been one winning trade out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the last 6. 2 out of 6. Okay, if we go back 6. That's going back almost to the first of the year. So the Euro main refi rate, not a trade I would have risked real money on. However, you still want to know what happened. Don't you want to know what happened? So here's what happened on the Euro refi rate. Now, I didn't think I would be here, but I was able to record it. So let me show you. So that trade was at 7:45. Watch the right side of my chart. It's the bank rate statement for the ECB, okay? The European Central Bank released their bank rate. The rate we know didn't change. Now it's a 40-second cancel. Let me double check the cancel. So the cancel, 45-second cancel on this report. All right. So I would not have canceled yet. And you wait. When it says 45 seconds, you really want to wait. So there was a fill in 28 seconds. And it was a relatively, hits the first target. Okay. First target was 10 ticks. And then it goes up, and then this is a good trade if you want to see possibly how to deal with a dull trade. In other words, it was a very minor reaction, right? You all can hear me, right? Can you all hear me okay? Few of you type in that you can hear me. Okay. Okay, so what happened was there was a small move, it hits the first target, and then price just stops moving. It just literally stops. So what do? You want to shrink your targets, shrink your stop, protect your small profit, right? So I brought the stop up to almost break even. Price wasn't moving very much, but then I watched my target and I noticed that the price was pushing up, and the squeeze had given a long signal also. The momentum was up on the squeeze. So I increased my target to just below the high of the day. And by managing the trade as well as I could, I was able to maximize the profit on this trade. Okay. So even if you don't trade live, you can practice techniques that will help you become a better trader, okay? So it's very important, in my opinion, to practice. Just because we don't have a trade room doesn't mean you can't trade. Now, most of the people that have been with us forever, for a long time, they know that advanced GDP and Thursday claims is definitely a tradable report. Does it have risk? Yes, but it's darn tradable because we're seeing markets trading pretty well. If you think about it, folks, think about just this week. Core durable goods, if I would have waited a little longer, I could have had a very good trade. Point of fact is it didn't stop you out. It didn't present a lot of risk. That was the first trade. Didn't take it. Unfortunately, I canceled too soon because the response wasn't what we would have expected. And then let me just look at a couple of other things. Oil's been difficult. We're not going to, I'm not going to make any excuses. I don't trade oil live right now because it's not trading well. Okay, it's not trading well. The Bank of Canada, bad luck on that report that it whipsawed, but I will trade it again. I'm not ready to get rid of that report. Okay, there are going to be bad reports, but what you got to do is don't pile it on by trying to make it back. If you lose money, don't try to make it back on a report that's high risk, like oil, because there's a strong possibility you're not going to make it back. You might make it worse. You might make it worse. Of course, if oil would have been fantastic, anybody that would have traded it live would be happy as a clam. Okay, but it wasn't fantastic. However, when you look at a GDP report like this morning, had we been here this morning, you know I'm honest, I would not have traded the euro trade live. No way. But I would have traded advanced GDP. Why? Because I know, even though there have been some good GDP trades and some difficult GDP trades, but the possibility of a very profitable report and a very profitable move exists with GDP that I would be willing to risk that. It's not a family money trade, but it's a trade that's worth risking, okay? Watch what happened this morning on advanced GDP. Using the exact setups that we recommended on the reports, okay? Exact setup. Bear with me. So looking at gold, the bracket was 8. Targets were 8 and 15. Now, being honest, I probably would have used a target of 6 on my first target. I'm not sure if I would have gone bigger or not on the second. So I'm not going to say that I would have, but I would have traded this report live. That's the truth. Not as a family money trade, but as a trade that I feel is always worth the risk. GDP, I'm always trading. US GDP. Watch what happens. The news comes out, gold explodes to the downside. Looks like a very manageable trade. Did anybody trade that live? I would be shocked. And our targets could have been 40 ticks. So you make a note of that in your journal, right? At a minimum, everybody should have been watching it, okay? Everybody should have been watching that news. And if you're a member and you have our software, you should have been practicing, right? If you don't practice, if you don't learn on your own, I'll say it a billion times, you're never going to get great. You're never going to know what to do. What if I'm not here? I wasn't here. That was a real good opportunity to make money. So Eric, I'm not picking on you, but I'm assuming that you're visiting with us. So I'm assuming you didn't use our settings. So that's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different game. Okay. I'm yakking at the people the members. I want our members to make sure that they're learning, that you learn from these reports. Okay. Any comments? Is anybody out there? Okay, Eric, beautiful. I'll definitely look at it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody out there? And is anybody listening to me? Do you want to yell at me, disagree with me, something? Give me some feedback, folks. Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Is anybody out there practicing? I hope so. I hope so. Fred, you traded MGC. See, I don't trust MGC, Fred. I just don't trust it. I trust the other micros, but not MGC. I don't think the liquidity is safe. Fred, I think you're better off risking one contract of regular gold, because I think you'll have a chance of getting a better fill. I really do. Now, AJ, did you trade it, AJ? So if somebody traded it live with full-size GC using our exact settings, I'd like to know what happened. Using full-size gold with our exact settings. Okay, AJ, that's good. Well, AJ, I know you're out there trading, so I just think it's important that everybody practice as much as possible. All right, let's talk about natural gas. All right, natural gas. So what do you do? What do you do with natural gas? Right? What do you do with it? Natural gas, it's more than a month now that natural gas really went insane on one report. I mean, crazy, not normal. I think, let me see if this is the right one. Hold on. Let me see if this is the month, the week that natural gas went crazy. So natural gas for a year and a half, more than a year and a half, has been trading really well up until September 16th. So everybody that traded natural gas live September 16th was just expecting a normal behavior. Now I know, because natural gas is the reason I'm in this room teaching. It's the first commodity I ever traded with news. And it's how I got interested in news trading, event trading. It was natural gas. Before I was a member here, I was hiring programmers for them to write me a program to trade news. And natural gas was killing me, was killing my account. It was years ago, and it would go up and down and up and down. It was totally unsafe to trade. But we've been trading it off and on for a year and a half, and it's been safe for a year and a half. No joke, a year and a half. It's not a gigantic profit maker, but over that year and a half, no reason you couldn't have made money on natural gas. Especially if you traded every report over the past year and a half, you'd have made money. Even with this report, even if you traded this one. So in September, watch what happens on September 16th. The reason I'm showing it, because if you trade natural gas live, you have to accept the possibility that this might happen one day again. Natural gas, it's the fastest whipsaw, the fastest 4 to 5 whipsaws in a row I've ever seen in my life. In my life, natural gas had an uncontrolled reaction to the news. Uncontrolled. It exploded in multiple directions in a nanosecond on each direction. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to lose a fortune. That's what happens. You have to, if you're going to trade natural gas, you just have to realize it could be another year and a half until that happens again. It could be another year and a half, but it could happen next week. It could happen today. That's natural gas is like I don't know how to describe it. You can't trust it. You cannot trust it. Okay. We were thinking, and we've actually had natural gas as a family money trade for a couple of weeks because it had been trading so well. It was actually a family money trade for at least a couple of weeks, and no one got hurt. After we took it off and started watching it, and decided we were thinking about making it a family money trade again, it went completely crazy that day, and people lost a lot of money. including me. I lost money that day, and I was only trading one contract. So I'm not saying, hey, don't trade natural gas. What I'm saying is, if you trade it, try to trade it so that if you do trade normally, you make the best profit you can. So you want to have your targets as big as safe, right? So the natural gas setup. Anybody trading natural gas live today using the DMM? There's a couple of people that trade it regularly. Anybody trading it live today? Josh, you're trading? AJ, you're taking a reversal, possibly. Okay. Hold on, folks. Let me fix my recording. So let me set the trade up, and then do you all want total honesty from me? Maybe I'll wait till the next trade room. So here's our natural gas setup. Josh, you're trading it? You like to trade it? So natural gas has had, I think it's had, look, hold on, scan likely. Natural gas has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners in a row if you go by the DMM. I always go by the journal, okay? But I will say this, natural gas, ever since it had 2 bad trades in September, it's been better. Not quite the same as it had been, okay? Not quite the same as it had been, all right? We're on, let me get on the right chart. Natural gas, 1221, and let me get this trade set up. So the setup that we show is a bracket of 5, one target of 5, one of 8, one of 12. Now, if you don't want to trade 3 contracts, then your first target should be 5. And really, you have to make a decision. Do you want to go for the bigger target of 12? I would rather go 5 and 12. That way you know if it's a first target winner. If it hits your first target, you know that it was a first target winner. Okay, a lot of times you can have a situation where natural gas might only just barely hit the first target. The stop is 15 and the entry time is 10, 29, 59. And I'm interested very possibly in trading natural gas again, but I'm just watching a little bit longer. All right. I'm not sold because the markets have had a lot of whippiness, So I'm not totally sold on natural gas's safety. All right. Now, any trade can whip you. Let's go check our time sync, time.is. My computer is not in sync today. So I should have enough time to get my Dimension 4 going. Give me a second. Now, I did talk to NinjaTrader. Windows 11 is not supported. Okay, just so everybody knows. Windows 11 is not supported yet, by NinjaTrader. It's a little surprising. I was surprised. I thought that it would be. Excuse me. Okay, let's get our sync going. So they're expecting about 86 billion. They're expecting a pretty big drawdown. In other words, it's still a big build, but they're expecting, I take it back. They're expecting a big build. They're expecting 86 billion in storage. That's a very big build. Dimension 4, I press sync now. I watch the synchronized line to make sure it puts me in sync. And then I go to time.is again to check my sync. And it should put me in sync, and it does. Okay? Puts me in sync. This was natural gas last week. It was volatile before the report, and then it went down very fast, very fast. And what people told me in the room last week, it hit targets of 5 ticks and 10 ticks. Okay, people that traded it live got the first 2 targets last week. Looked tough, but that's what they said, trading live. But natural gas has not had the smoothness that it's had over the past year and a half lately. It's definitely not been trading, doesn't look the same to me. And that's why I've been taking my time before we've decided if we want to trade it or not. It's not a family money trade, no matter what. So it does, you have to understand there are certain reports that have high inherent risk because natural gas also has a pretty big stop and a small and smallish targets. So that's this other issue with natural gas. The stop is large, 15 ticks, and the targets are not large. So it's not a great risk to reward report to begin with. So for me, I mean, I'm just not, I don't have to trade natural gas. There's plenty other reports that come up. I'd like to. I mean, when it was trading great, there were so many trades that we missed. But you just have to weigh, the risk. You always have to weigh risk. What you can take, how much risk you can deal with, size of your account. Now, some people love trading it. I happen to like trading natural gas. It's challenging. And I like the fast moves also. So 1 minute. Okay. So, you know, what's frustrating is missing that 8:30 trade this morning. That was a trade absolutely would have taken. And you know what trade we missed that I was wrong on? I made a mistake. I really didn't think that the report had a very bad history. Australia's CPI, I think it was what? Not last night, the night before. 8:30 on, I think, was it Monday? Tuesday night. Australia's CPI, it actually had a very tradable move. Watch. Natural gas has been doing this, moving before the report routine. It makes it very nerve-wracking to trade it. Now, I do not think that would be a winning trade. I don't think that would have been a winning trade. I think that would be a big whipsaw loss. So that showed that it went up first and filled, but I don't believe it would have filled those targets. I think that would have been a losing trade. It would have stopped you out on the way down. I'm afraid to ask anybody who traded that live what actually happened to them, because that to me looked like a loser. Joshua, you hit your targets. I think, did you hit your targets long? Did you hit them long or short? That's a trade. You hit them long. I think that's a miracle. And it was not much of a news difference. 87 billion versus 86. You know, price is going up because natural gas is so darn bullish. You can't go by sim, in my opinion, Tess, on that trade. It was too whippy. That's the kind of trade where one person could make money, another person might have lost money. It's possible because of the behavior of the index. It was really, really a dangerous looking trade, to be honest. And that's the reason I'm kind of not dying to trade natural gas. Okay, Josh, I'll see you later. All right, folks. So now looking at the 30-second chart, this also not easy to take a reversal on natural gas today. Not easy. Because the news isn't really on the side of a reversal. It's almost a flat report. It's almost a flat report. So if this is the trading candle right there, and in theory, you do get a reversal signal on the squeeze, but it didn't really pull back all that much. It was a whipsaw. It was a whipsaw. Now, some people love trading a whipsaw. They'll go the other way. So this whipped up and then down. And then if you get a reversal signal, some people will take it. And there was a reversal signal. And there were two whipsaws, in my opinion. So anybody who made money on that trade, to me, that's a lucky break. That's a lucky break. I think that's a little bit of luck. Now, I'm giving a webinar Saturday. And here's the registration. If you'd like to come or just register, it'd be awesome. www.fmt2021.com. Be really, really helpful. If you come, and if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. You can go to www.freetraderoom.com. You can spend the rest of the week in the trade room with us. Okay. So, folks, I'll see everybody at 12:30. I'll see everybody at 12:30 for the 7-year note. Any questions? Got any questions here? Or is everybody okay?